What kind of family sells your dog for shoes? My name is Sophie Morrison, 25, a social worker who thought she knew betrayal until I came home from a Chicago conference to find my golden retriever mix, Max, gone, sold by my parents, Richard and Diane, and my sister Ashley for $15,000 to fund her wedding shoes. They broke the news in our Westchester living room, their voices casual, like they'd donated old furniture. Not my best friend, the one being who chose me back in a house where I was always the afterthought. Max wasn't just a pet. He was my lifeline, his wise eyes and quiet presence pulling me through family dinners, where Ashley's engagement to Preston Whitfield III outshone my every achievement. The $15,000, they said, was a good opportunity, but their lies hid a deeper truth, one that would unravel 25 years of their perfect facade. If you're reading this, where are you from? Share below, and stay with me for a story of loyalty and betrayal that changed everything. I'm still shaking as I write this, Max's absence a hollow ache in my chest, the house too silent without his soft huffs. 3 years ago, rain battered the shelter windows when I met Max. I'd tagged along with my roommate Sarah, who wanted to just look at cats, but a golden retriever mix, barely 8 weeks old, stopped me dead. Amid barking puppies, he sat still, his head tilted, eyes holding a wisdom too deep for his age. That one's been returned twice, the volunteer said, shrugging. Too quiet, maybe something wrong. But I saw myself in that stillness, a soul who watched before acting, who spoke loudest in silence. My parents' disapproval was instant, echoing in my head as I signed the papers. Dad, a real estate attorney obsessed with value, saw Max as a depreciating asset. Mom, wrapped in charity luncheons and Ashley's wedding plans, called him another of my phases, like choosing social work over law school. Ashley, 3 years younger, perfected her sweet cruelty. Sophie's dog is actually adorable, she'd say, the actually a jab implying my choices were debatable. But Max became my constant. At 6:15 every morning, he'd rest his chin on my bed, waiting for my eyes to open. No barking, just patience. Our Riverside Park walks were sacred, his paws tracing paths where I'd cried over Connor's betrayal or mourned a lost internship. He knew every bench, every moment I'd faltered, and his gentle nudge kept me moving. The Chicago trip was unavoidable. My supervisor insisted I attend a trauma-informed care conference, calling me a promising advocate. 5 days away, the longest I'd left Max. Boarding him felt wrong, and Mom seemed offended when I suggested it. "We're capable of feeding a dog, Sophie," she said, dismissing my 3-page care instructions as dramatic. I'd stocked his prescription food for his sensitive stomach, listed his vet's number, and laid out his toys. Mr. Bunny, Blue Ball, Rope Snake. "It's a dog, not a nuclear reactor," Dad scoffed. Ashley, glued to her phone, muttered about knowing dogs from childhood, conveniently forgetting Buttons, our one backyard dog, rehomed when she faked allergies at 12. I kissed Max goodbye, whispering, "Be good, I'll be back soon." He watched from the window as my Uber left, and I fought the urge to stay. 5 days, I told myself. What could go wrong? The conference was eye-opening, but unease grew. My first call home went unanswered. Mom texted hours later, "Everything's fine, stop worrying." Day 2, I FaceTimed during Max's evening walk time. Ashley answered from a restaurant saying he's around somewhere, while Preston's voice in the background called him that mutt. By day 3, my calls were declined. Dad texted, "Sophie, we're busy with wedding plans. The dog is fine. Respect our time." Respect their time? While I sat in workshops on trust, my family was betraying mine. Sarah hadn't seen Max either. Mom said they'd taken him to their place, dismissing her offer to check in. Anxiety clawed at me. Was Max eating? Getting his joint medication? I cut the trip short, landing at JFK by 3 p.m., clutching a silly Chicago hot dog toy for Max. The taxi ride dragged, my leg bouncing as I imagined his wiggling reunion. At my parents' pristine Westchester house, Mom's roses bloomed, Dad's Mercedes gleamed, but Max's face wasn't at the window. I called his name, keys biting my palm. Silence answered, not his eager pause, but an empty void. Mom's voice came, too controlled, from the living room. They sat like a jury, Dad in his leather chair, Mom on the sofa, Ashley admiring her nails. "Where's Max?" I asked, voice steady despite my racing heart. Their glances, Ashley's smirk, told me everything before they spoke. Something was catastrophically wrong. "Sit down, Sophie," Dad said in his litigation voice, the one that brooked no argument. designed to steer narratives his way. But I couldn't sit. My legs felt like they might give out if I stopped moving, the toy hot dog in my bag a ridiculous weight pulling me down. "Where is Max?" I repeated, my voice cracking now, the whisper of dread turning into a storm. Mom smoothed her skirt, avoiding my eyes. "We need to discuss this rationally. Now that we've all been under stress with the wedding." Ashley looked up, feigning surprise. "God, Sophie, why so aggressive? They're trying to talk." But talk wasn't what they did. They deflected, justified, as if Max's absence was a minor inconvenience, not a gaping wound. Dad cleared his throat. An opportunity arose. The Weatherby's daughter wanted a well-trained dog. They offered a generous sum. "You sold him." The words barely escaped, a breath more than sound. Ashley held up her foot, displaying a glittering shoe. "These are Louboutin limited editions, the wedding shoes I've dreamed of since forever. They were only available for immediate purchase, and Daddy's accounts were tied up." "You sold my dog for shoes." Dad stood, towering as if height equaled reason. "Don't be dramatic. He's just a dog. You can get another." "Just a dog." The phrase echoed like poison, reducing 3 years of unwavering companionship to nothing. "He's family," I said, tears threatening but held back. "My family," Mom corrected. "We're your family," as if that erased the betrayal. "No," I thought, "family doesn't sell what you love most while your back is turned." Ashley rolled her eyes. "You're being such a victim. It's one dog, and I'm planning the social event of the year. Replaceable," she implied, like an outdated gadget. But Max wasn't replaceable. His empathy, his intelligence, the way he sensed my anxiety and appeared with his leash to drag me into the fresh air. "Who bought him?" I demanded. Mom shook her head. "That's not important." But it was everything. Dad's jaw tightened. "Mr. Daniel Blackwood. He paid $15,000, far more than that was worth. $15,000 for Max's life, for Ashley's vanity." "I want his address." "Absolutely not," Mom said, standing. "You'll embarrass us." Ashley smirked. "It's been 3 days. The dog's probably forgotten you." 3 days of my worry, their deceit. I turned for the stairs, needing space before rage consumed me. "Where are you going?" Mom called. "To pack, to leave." Dad dismissed it. "You're emotional. Sleep here and we'll discuss rationally tomorrow." But rationality had fled this house long ago. That night, in my childhood bed, I clutched Max's tennis ball, found under the dresser, its familiar fuzz a poor substitute for his warmth. The house felt like a mausoleum, every creak a reminder of absence. At 2 a.m., footsteps paused at my door, a rustle followed, then retreat. Opening it, I found a folded paper. "Daniel Blackwood, 47 Thornwood Drive, Greenwich." No signature, just hope in elegant script. Morning brought gray skies matching my mood. The breakfast table gleamed with Mom's best china, eggs Benedict sliding before me like a bribe. "Your favorite," she said. "Let's put yesterday behind us." Ashley scrolled Pinterest, showing wedding boards. Dad hid behind the newspaper. I pushed the plate away. "Still pouting?" Ashley sneered. "Very mature." "I'm not hungry," Mom insisted. "We need to discuss your behavior, screaming like that. What if the neighbors heard? What if they did?" Dad lowered his paper. "This attitude isn't helping." "Helping? Like you helped by selling my dog?" Ashley interjected. "He wasn't just yours. We dealt with the hair, the smell. Max didn't bark. Whatever. We all sacrificed." Sacrifices. Ashley's was tolerating him while living rent-free, her wedding a $500,000 extravaganza on our parents' dime. "You're right," I said, standing. "Especially you, Ashley. Seeing loyalty must have been torture for someone incapable of it." Mom gasped. Ashley flushed. "At least I'm not a pathetic spinster whose only friend is a dog." "Was," I corrected, "thanks to you." I left them sputtering, retreating to my room where Max's bed still held his indent, his collar on the doorknob a relic. My phone buzzed. Sarah asking how Max reacted to my return. I couldn't answer, the truth too raw. Instead, I searched online. Daniel Blackwood, Greenwich. CEO of Blackwood International, divorced philanthropist, his photos showing sharp features, unsmiling eyes. Why pay $15,000 for a shelter dog? His watch cost more. Studying his face, I wondered what he wanted with Max. Mom knocked later. "Can we talk?" "No." She entered anyway, sitting uninvited. "Ashley's wedding is important. More than Max? Than me?" Her face hardened. "That dog was an unhealthy obsession. You're 25, should be dating, building a real career." "My career matters," she laughed. "Social work, that's for people who can't do better. Or who want to." She stood, Mr. Blackwood is respected, don't harass him. Watch me. Overhearing them later, Ashley whining, she's impossible. Dad assuring, she'll get over it, Sophie always does. Had I? Over Connor, over sabotaged opportunities, over being the footnote to Ashley's story? That evening, Ashley on the phone. She's sulking. The shoes are perfect, worth every penny. The dog's gone, thank God. Yeah, cash. Cash? Untraceable. Why? The note's handwriting wasn't family. Fountain pen on cream paper. A text from unknown. The truth about your dog isn't what they told you. No answer when I called. Disconnected. My search shifted online. Posts in Greenwich groups about a golden retriever mix named Max. Within hours, deleted, admins citing guidelines. Someone was silencing me. Dinner was Arctic. Ashley clicking her shoes tauntingly. Beautiful, Mom cooed. They'll be perfect. What did they cost? I asked. Ashley deflected. $15,000 seems high for shoes. Dad's fork clattered. You're dramatic. Unless they're buying conscience too. Ashley snapped. Max is in luxury now, the Blackwoods estate. Blackwood, singular. Her pallor confirmed I'd hit something. How did you? I'm not stupid. Mom intervened, but I stood. You want what looks best, not what's best. Ashley exploded. I'm glad he's gone. Pathetic. I had a life. You sold it. In my room, Max's photos flooded my screen. Park days, birthday bandanas, his trusting eyes accusing my failure. Another text. Check your father's office. Bottom drawer left. Dad's office was forbidden, but at 3 a.m. I crept down, picking the lock from college mischief. Inside, receipt for $30,000, not $15,000. They'd pocketed $20,000. Confidentiality agreement mentioned associated materials, genetic testing, behavioral studies, Project Compass. What? Footsteps above, I photographed quickly, escaped. This wasn't just shoes. It was something bigger, and my family knew. The truth was bigger than I'd imagined. A web of deceit that extended beyond shoes and into something calculated, something my family had hidden with the precision of Dad's legal maneuvers. For 3 days, I didn't confront them, simmering in my room like a pot about to boil over, piecing together fragments while the house pulsed with wedding chaos. I needed proof, leverage, before unleashing the storm. Every search for Project Compass yielded nothing. No articles, no forums, just dead ends that made my suspicion grow. Whatever it wasn't public, buried deep like the favoritism that had defined our family for years. Ashley's voice echoed from downstairs, shrill over floral arrangements, while Mom mediated and Dad grunted approvals from his study. They pretended I didn't exist, meals left at my door like offerings to a ghost. But in those quiet hours, memories flooded back, sharp as thorns, reminding me how we'd gotten here, how Max had been my shield against the Morrison machine. Growing up in that Westchester mansion, success wasn't encouraged, it was demanded, measured in accolades that fit their mold. Dad, with his portfolio of properties and clients who golfed at exclusive clubs, saw life as transactions, assets gained, liabilities shed. Mom orchestrated our image, her social calendar a battlefield of luncheons where alliances were forged over salads and whispers. And Ashley? She was their golden child, 3 years my junior, born into the role I'd failed to play. From toddler tantrums excused as spirited to her college degree, padded by Dad's donations, she glided on favoritism I could never touch. Ashley's so driven, Mom would say, ignoring that her drive was towards spas and shopping. My promotion at the youth counseling center? At least you're happy, Dad dismissed, as if happiness was a consolation prize. I remembered family dinners where Ashley's stories dominated, her sorority triumphs, her engagement to Preston, a banker whose pedigree matched our facade. My tales of helping troubled kids were footnotes, interrupted by "Pass the wine, dear." Max changed that subtly. He'd sit under the table, his head on my knee during those moments, a silent ally against the tide of indifference. The favoritism stung most in quiet ways, like when I chose social work. Law school would suit you better, Dad had said, his tone implying my path was a detour to failure. Ashley's whims, though, designer bags, summer internships at fashion houses, were investments in her future. Even Buttons, our childhood dog, had been rehomed for her allergies, a convenience that foreshadowed Max's fate. As the Chicago conference loomed, that dynamic amplified my unease. The trip was a milestone, my supervisor praising my potential, but leaving Max felt like abandoning part of myself. I'd agonized over boarding, but Mom's offense sealed it. Don't be dramatic, We had dogs growing up. Their tolerance of Max had always been thin. Dad grumbled about vet bills, Mom about fur on her rugs, Ashley about how he stole attention at gatherings. Preparing his care list felt futile, like scripting a play they wouldn't follow. I packed his food meticulously, 2 weeks' worth, his medications labeled, toys named for easy fetch. "You've written a novel," Dad observed, scanning it with a smirk. Ashley, absorbed in venue photos, barely glanced up. "God, Sophie, we know what to do." But did they? Buttons had lived outside, forgotten until inconvenient. I bit back worries, kissing Max's head, his eyes following my Uber. That tilted question. Why leave? Those preparations haunted me now, 3 days into my self-imposed exile, as I pored over blurry photos of the documents. The $35,000 receipt burned, $20,000 pocketed, perhaps for more than shoes. Associated materials, videos of Max's training, his medical records, bloodline notes. Why? Max's smarts, mastering commands in weeks, reading my moods, suddenly seemed engineered, not coincidence. Anxiety gnawed. Had they known he was special? The shelter volunteer had hinted, but I'd dismissed it. Online, I tried variations, Project Compass dogs, empathic breeding programs. Zilch. The house ignored me. Ashley's laughter floating up over cake tastings. Mom's calls to vendors a symphony of denial. Friday evening, 7:47 p.m., 144 hours since Max vanished. The doorbell rang, shattering the tension. No one moved at first. Mom's book club was canceled, Dad's poker tomorrow. It rang again, insistent knocks following. "I'll get it," I said, my chest tightening with unexplained hope. Mom started, "Sophie, wait." But I was already there, opening the door to a tilt in reality. Daniel Blackwood stood framed in the entry, his charcoal suit impeccable, presence commanding like the photos hadn't captured. But my world narrowed to the leather leash in his hand, to the swaying tail and wiggling body beside him. Max. Max, I choked, dropping to my knees as he lunged, nearly yanking free, his licks frantic on my face, those huffing cries his version of sobs. I buried myself in his fur, inhaling, expensive shampoo over his oatmeal scent, but undeniably him. "Hello, Sophie," Blackwood said, accent polished and neutral. "I believe we need to talk." Dad's voice boomed behind, freezing. "Mr. Blackwood." Mom paled, Ashley peered, her shoes clicking nervously. "We weren't expecting," Mom stammered. "No, I imagine not." He handed me the leash. I gripped it like salvation. "May I come in? This shouldn't be on doorsteps." Dad stepped aside stiffly. We filed to the living room, same tribunal spots, but now I stood with Max pressed close, trembling in joy. Blackwood centered the room, authority effortless. "You told me the dog was unwanted, a burden," Ashley started. "He was." "Don't." His tone whipped. "I've had him a week. He refused food, howled nights, escaped 6 times, not unwanted behavior." My heart fractured and mended. Max had fought, loyal as ever. "More interesting, his training is exceptional," Mom admitted quietly. "Sophie trained him." Blackwood's gaze softened on me. "I suspected. Your parents sold more than a dog, something valuable, though they didn't grasp it." "The associated materials," I said, the words tumbling out as pieces clicked in my mind, the blurry photos from Dad's office suddenly crystal clear. Blackwood's eyebrows rose, a flicker of surprise crossing his controlled features. "You know about that?" "I found the contract." Dad's face reddened. "You went through my office?" "You sold my dog. We're past boundaries." Ashley demanded. "What materials? You said it was just the dog." Blackwood's smile was cold, predatory. "Your parents provided video footage of Max's training, medical records, and documentation of his bloodline. Max isn't just a rescue. He's from a specific breeding program I've tracked, producing dogs with exceptional intelligence and empathic abilities." Dad blustered. "Ridiculous. He's a mutt from a shelter. A mutt whose grandfather was Titan, the military dog who saved 17 soldiers in Afghanistan, whose grandmother was Sage, the therapy dog detecting seizures early. The program shut down, lineage lost, but markers remain." My head spun. Max's intuition, his commands mastered so swiftly, his bond with me, it wasn't chance. "You knew," I accused my parents. Mom admitted softly. "We suspected. The shelter hinted he was special. So you sold him to the highest bidder." "It was an opportunity," Dad began. Blackwood cut in. "It was fraud, selling under false pretenses, claiming ownership you didn't have." Ashley protested. "We're his legal owners." "No," I remembered. "I registered him, the chip, vet records, all in my name. You stole him." Silence fell, broken only by Max's panting. This brings us here, Blackwood said. I could pursue legal action, fraud, theft, cruelty. Selling a bonded animal causes distress qualifying as abuse. Your reputation, Mr. Morrison, would crumble. Your daughter's wedding, a scandal. Ashley strangled a sound. But I'm interested in justice. The choice is yours, Sophie. Max returns regardless. He's useless without his handler, and keeping him cruel. But exposing the lies, the money kept, that's yours. What money kept, I asked, though suspicion brewed. The shoes cost $15,000. I paid $35,000. Where's the rest? Ashley gasped theatrically. Mom, Dad? Their silence damned them. Into savings for the wedding, Dad admitted. Ashley's pitch rose. You stole from my fund to add to it? Irony twisted like a knife. Blackwood continued, his voice steady amid the chaos. There's more. Sophie, your parents never mentioned your godfather, did they? My what? James Hartley, my business partner until his death 2 years ago. He left instructions, a portion of his estate to his goddaughter, you, on your 25th birthday, 3 months ago. The room tilted further. I don't have a godfather. You did. Your parents were trustees of $200,000 for education, a home, whatever you chose. They were to notify you. Mom sobbed sharply. Dad grayed. How much? I asked numbly. $200,000. While I'd scraped through college with 3 jobs, rats in my studio, pleas for independence ringing hollow. We were gonna tell you, Mom whispered. When? After Ashley's honeymoon, Dad said, standing tall but crumbling. We made decisions we thought best. That money would have been wasted on your projects, social work, rescues. On my life. Laughter escaped, harsh. Like Ashley's wedding, $500,000 for 1 day. Good return? An investment in her future. And I'm not? Max pressed closer. Even Blackwood shifted uncomfortably. You were always different, Mom searched. Difficult. You didn't want what we offered. I wanted love to be seen beyond Ashley's shadow. We love you, the idea of you, if you'd conform. That's not love. I turned to Blackwood. I want it all, the money, the truth exposed. Mom reached. I stepped back, Max growling low, his first at them. I'm done with crumbs while Ashley feasts, done with neglect as tough love. Blackwood nodded. My lawyers contact you Monday. We'll recover your inheritance, ensure consequences. This ruins us, Dad said. You ruined yourselves. Ashley exploded, insane, destroying our family over a dog. Blackwood quietly, she's saving herself from one destroying her. He paused at the door. Sophie, your gift with Max is rare. My company trains service animals for PTSD veterans. We need someone like you. A job offer amid implosion. Also, I've contacted James's partners. They're interested in the inheritance handling. He left, card on the table. I stood in ruins, Max's leash anchoring me, destroyed yet free. Sophie, Ashley said, real tears streaking. You can't, my wedding. You'll have your shoes, your party, your husband who calls Max that mutt, everything you wanted, I'll have Max. Choosing a dog over family, choosing loyalty over betrayal. Upstairs I packed, clothes, laptop, Max's bed, toys, the Chicago hot dog he claimed gently. Downstairs, arguments erupted, doors slamming. The facade fractured but had been broken long. Sarah texted, your mom called, hysterical. How's Max? Picking him up, coming home soon. Home, our cramped apartment, authenticity over luxury. Dad blocked the garage. Mistake. My mistake was believing your love. We gave everything. Things, not love. He flinched. We loved you, just didn't know how to love who you became. Then it wasn't me. Max settled in the back seat, content. Backing out, I saw them at the window, Mom crying, Dad stone-faced, Ashley phoning. Prosperity interrupted. The drive was quiet, Max's sighs peaceful. At a light, I stroked him, he licked my hand, renewal. Blackwood called, made it out, we're fine. The job stands. Why help? Pause. James spoke of you, his goddaughter choosing others, rescuing me overlooked. He'd be furious. This honors him. Some injustices need correction. Thank you. Don't yet. The process is ugly. Your family will fight. Rear view, Max's wise eyes. They made me the villain already, at least now with my dog. He chuckled warmly. James would have loved that. Call ended as I pulled in. Sarah waited, squealing at Max. You got him back, how? Inside, he reclaimed the couch, I explained. The sale, shoes, inheritance, choice to burn bridges. Your parents are sociopaths. Selfish. Difference. What now? Our tiny space, stains, clangs, brick view, perfect. Live without apologies. Max barked agreement. That night, as Max sprawled across my feet, his steady breathing a lullaby in the quiet apartment, my phone glowed with messages I couldn't ignore forever. Mom, please reconsider. We can work this out as family. Dad, lawyers say you have a case, settled privately. Ashley, you've ruined everything, hope you're happy. But one brought a smile, unknown, but I knew. This is Maria. Glad you got your dog back. He never stopped looking for you, neither did you. That's real love. I saved her number, then powered off, letting darkness wrap us. Max's paw twitched in sleep, touching my leg, assurance we were together. For the first time in years, my own breathing matched his, peaceful amid the storm brewing. Monday dawned relentless. 14 missed calls from Dad's lawyer, 6 from Mom, Ashley's voicemail deleted mid-rant. Max lay on my lap as I dressed, his eyes following my movements, sensing the day's weight. Blackwood's office towered over Manhattan, windows framing the city like a conquered kingdom, artwork whispering wealth. He slid a folder across his desk. Your parents retained Harrison and Associates, claiming the inheritance funded your private schools, tuition, expenses. Lying. I know, but proving requires forensic accounting. Every dollar on you versus Ashley documented. Unfairness scorched. Steal $200,000, make me prove deserving. So they walk unless I dig? He smiled sharply. I have the best accountants, subpoenas for their records issued. Max shifted head on my knee, calming the churn. Something else about James. My stomach nodded. What? He left a letter, your parents to give on your 21st birthday. 4 years withheld. The envelope aged, my name in unfamiliar script, paper scented with faint cigars and cologne. Inside, Dear Sophie, if reading this, I'm gone and your parents finally did right, though knowing Richard and Diane later than intended. You don't know me, but I've watched from afar. They forbade contact, too unconventional. Made money in tech, believed in dogs over dinners. Left money, but more, permission to be you. The girl rescuing broken dogs, seeing potential. Choosing helping over earning. Loving fiercely, forgiving rarely. Your parents won't understand, stop waiting. Build on your terms. Trust instincts, especially people. Always choose who chooses back. Money's tool. Real inheritance, strength. Love, James. P.S. Heard about Max. Loyal creature deserves reciprocation. Don't let anyone say otherwise. Tears blurred ink. A stranger saw me clearer than blood. He knew about Max. Kept tabs, furious at their dismissal of your work, choices, inheritance for freedom. Instead, stolen for Ashley's spectacle. Betrayal layered, not just favoritism, systematic erasure. The revelation fueled my resolve, but as I left, questions swirled. Why hide James? What else buried? Homeward, Sarah texted, Your mom's here, crying on the stoop. I arrived to Mom, suit wrinkled, makeup smeared, smaller than her poised self. Sophie. She reached. I stepped back, Max between us. What do you want? 5 minutes. Against judgment, I let her in, her presence clashing with our threadbare couch. Your father doesn't know I'm here, he'd forbid it, need you to understand. Understand stealing? Selling Max? Making me worthless? Never meant. Stop intentions. Results matter. She showed a photo, young them, baby me. You were wanted. Tried 5 years, miracle. What changed? Our expectations, you were supposed to comply like Ashley. Instead questioned, challenged, made us examine, disliked what we saw. Punished me. Guided. Controlled, then ignored. She cried ugly tears. The money we justified you'd waste on causes, not yourself. My choice. Your father had plans, Ashley's wedding, investments, retirement. With my inheritance. Planned to repay, after Ashley's children, colleges. Silence admitted. And Max? Ashley convinced, too attached, unhealthy. Offer through Preston's friend, knew someone linked to Blackwood seeking specific dog. Money too much. Worse with every word. She grasped for hands. I pulled. Please, we're family. No, Maria showed more loyalty, risking job. What want from us? Inheritance, accountability. Admit Ashley isn't worth more. She's not, to us, no. Every choice proves otherwise. Defeated, she stood. Father won't forgive. Not asking, demanding justice. At door, that dog mean that much? Max leaned steady. More than you'll understand. She left, I knew at our last honest exchange, air thick with finality. The lawsuit erupted in society pages before filings. Morrison implosion over dog sale. Lawyer accused of defrauding daughter. Ashley's Instagram privatized after shoe photos leaked. Captioned, $35,000 footwear funded by theft. Not my doing, but no pity stirred. 3 weeks in, Blackwood called. Parents want settlement. Forensic revealed more. Father used inheritance as loan collateral. Court means disbarment. Nightmare for dad. Losing identity. Offering? Full restitution, damages, $300,000 and NDA. Silence on family matters. Yes, Max huffed to sleep. No NDA won't be muzzled. 2 days later, Ashley at my center, lobby exotic amid fluorescent grit, teenagers eyeing her designer looseness. Talk. Working. Important? Courtyard, Preston called off, scandal reflects poorly. Sorry you're hurt, not sorry you showed colors. Bitter laugh. Worst, knew he didn't love me, loved representation, family, look, connections, like mom, dad, love idea over reality. Ashley, you were right, they love me more but not real. Investment, I'm success, you're failure, but neither daughters, just products. First time I saw her, girl valued by performance. Not too late, choose different. With what? No money, job, skills beyond parties, pretty. Degree in communications, use it, start over like me. She studied me. You got back what mattered, lost what I thought, realized nothing. Silence bridged years. Need tell? $20,000 not wedding, covered debts, dad gambling, mom shopping compulsively. Broke Sophie, house, cars, wedding leveraged against futures gone if dad disbarred. Shock felt inevitable, facade on credit, lies. Why tell? Deserve truth, maybe starting truth makes me worth. She left, pause. Max, the way he looked at you, never had that, like whole world. Could figure who you are without performing. After she left, I sat in the courtyard longer than intended, the bench hard beneath me, the distant chatter of kids in session, a reminder that life pushed on even as mine dissected itself. My family wasn't just broken, it was bankrupt. Financially, emotionally, a house of cards built on borrowed time and stolen funds. Ashley's confession about dad's gambling, mom's shopping, the leveraged everything. It explained the desperation behind selling Max, the frantic grab for $35,000 like a lifeline in a sinking ship. But it didn't excuse it. Max, waiting in my office where I'd left him with a chew toy, sensed my turmoil when I returned, his head tilting in that familiar question. I knelt, stroking his ears, whispering, "We're okay, boy. We have to be." But questions lingered about his lineage, that Project Compass mentioned in the documents. What was it really? The original program shutdown hinted at controversy, perhaps ethical issues or government ties. I pulled out my phone, hesitating before dialing Blackwood's number from his card. He answered on the second ring, his voice crisp. "Sophie, everything all right? I need to know more about Max." The breeding program, Project Compass. What exactly was it? Pause, then a sigh. It's classified in parts, but since you're involved. Project Compass was a joint military-civilian initiative in the early 2000s, aimed at breeding dogs with heightened empathic traits for therapy and detection. Titan and Sage were stars. Titan's scent work saved lives. Sage's seizure alerts were near psychic. But funding dried up amid debates over genetic ethics, animal welfare. Records scattered, dogs placed anonymously in shelters. Max's markers, his calm observation, emotional reads, their hallmarks. Your bond amplified it. Handlers like you are rare. I absorbed it, new details flooding. Reports I'd now search for, whispers of dogs predicting panic attacks or even lies through micro-expressions. Why track him? My company consults on similar programs now, ethically reformed. Max could advance veteran support, deeper than I'd thought. Not just pedigree, but a legacy of service. Max unknowingly part of something heroic. Thank you for telling. Anytime. And Sophie? The settlement progresses. That conversation opened a rabbit hole. Back at my desk, I dove online, careful this time, using incognito modes and varied phrases. Project Compass Canine Genetics, Military Empathic Dog Breeding Shutdown. Snippets emerged, archived forums discussing ethical breaches, like overbreeding for traits leading to health issues, or classified tests on stress responses. One declassified abstract mentioned enhanced mirror neuron activity in the line, explaining Max's uncanny empathy, how he'd mirror my calm to ground me. New to me, a whistleblower account from 2012, alleging the program ended after dogs showed too much independence, refusing commands in high-stress simulations, prioritizing handler bonds over orders. It fit Max's quiet rebellion at Blackwood's, escaping, refusing food. I cross-referenced with his vet records I'd photographed, subtle notes on unusual cognitive scores from his initial checkup. Hours slipped by, adding layers to the betrayal. My parents hadn't just sold a dog, they'd traded a piece of hidden history, perhaps suspecting value from shelter hints, but ignoring the moral weight. By evening, as sun dipped, my head throbbed with newfound knowledge, Max dozing nearby like a guardian of secrets. The phone buzzed. Blackwood again. Final terms, they've agreed. Full restitution, damages, no NDA. But a condition, a letter from you stating this concludes matters, no future claims, no contact, severance. Complete cut, fitting, surgical, send the papers. Sophie, they chose this, now you do. Max patted over, sensing distress, his huff agreement. I drafted the letter that night, words measured. This settlement ends all ties. No further obligations, no reconciliation. You valued transactions over trust, I choose otherwise. Signing felt like shedding skin, painful but necessary. 6 months blurred into routine, the lawsuit's dust settled, my life rebuilt on firmer ground. Mornings started with Max's chin on the bed, our walks now in a new park near the training facility Blackwood had placed me in. My title, Canine Behavioral Specialist, but really, bridge builder between scarred veterans and rescue dogs needing purpose. That afternoon, I stood before 20 vets, Max at my side, demonstrating bonds. Trust earns daily, I said, signaling subtly. Max fetched a veteran's dropped glove without prompt, anticipating need. A former Marine with his German Shepherd struggled, but watched Max's patience, softening. Consistency over grand gestures. Post-session, Daniel appeared in the doorway, suit casual today. Good session, the Martinez pairing works. Both abandoned, fighting trust, like us. He nodded. Is there a difference between abandonment and selling? I considered, a new reflection surfacing. Abandonment might admit failure, releasing with regret. Selling calculated worth, profited on pain. Selling's colder, turns love to ledger. No family messages in months. Settlement concluded quietly. Dad avoided disbarment via supervised practice, restitution paid. Mom sold jewelry for debts, house listed. Ashley vanished to California, rumors of internship, self-finding. I hope genuine. Any regrets? Daniel asked. Max demonstrated anew, fetching my water unasked, noticing thirst. None. Evening brought my first gallery opening, not for society but Maria's son exhibiting. She'd texted tentatively post-settlement, fearing blame for silence. Instead, I thanked. Her note sparked everything, moral courage trumping years of service. At the venue she embraced warmly, then bent to Max. The famous one, who exposed truth. Worth more than shoes. We laughed, her son's portraits capturing invisible lives, cleaners, deliverers, margins of wealth. I bought one with reclaimed funds, first real art. A woman walking a dog at dawn, resilience and strides. You look happy, Maria observed. Free, same thing? She smiled wisely, maybe. On the subway home, Max alert to threats, I reflected. 6 months ago, Chicago return shattered me. Now, meaningful work, loyal companion, freedom from toxic strings. Inheritance afforded choices, savings, youth-centered donations, my dog training side program. But true wealth, authenticity. Phone buzzed, unknown but voice familiar. Sophie, it's Ashley. Date, month since. How are you? Learning, working nonprofit in San Diego. Animal rescue, believe it? Understand dogs now, they don't judge name, clothes, just exist with you. Pride swelled unexpectedly. Good. In therapy, real, not image. Sorry for shoes, dismissal, not seeing you. Appreciate. Don't expect forgiveness, accountable. Maybe someday, as sisters, real. Give Max love, tell him sorry too. She hung abrupt, but seeds planted. That night, apartment mine, Sarah moved out. Max and I shared Chinese, rain-streaking windows. He rested head on lap, sighing content. In eyes, James's vision, worth believing, investing. Family sold my dog, expecting trade loyalty for luxury. Didn't expect truth on pause, tearing lies under marble. Lost daughters, one to truth, one discovery. Kept reputation barely, lost family wholly. Max and I lost nothing mattered, gained all did. The months following Ashley's call blurred into a rhythm of healing, each day a step further from the Morrison shadows that had loomed so long. Mornings with Max were rituals of gratitude, his gentle nudge at dawn, our walks where the air felt cleaner, unburdened by expectations. At the training facility, my role expanded. Daniel trusted me with program development, pairing dogs like Max's lineage with veterans whose scars mirrored the invisible ones I'd carried. One session stood out. A young Army vet, eyes haunted by memories, bonded with a lab mix named Echo, who sensed his rising panic and leaned in just as Max did for me. How'd you teach that? He asked, voice rough. Didn't teach, built trust. They choose us if we let them. Echo's tail thumped agreement, and in that moment, I saw my own journey reflected. The betrayal that forced me to choose myself. Daniel observed from the sidelines more often, his visits evolving from oversight to conversations over coffee, sharing James's stories, how my godfather had championed underdogs, literally and figuratively, investing in startups that aided animal welfare. He'd be proud, Daniel said one afternoon, sunlight slanting through the windows. Not just of Max's return, but how you've turned pain into purpose. I nodded, but inside, doubts lingered. Had I been too harsh? The severance letter echoed, a clean cut that sometimes bled in quiet hours. News of the Morrisons trickled through mutual channels, fragments I didn't seek but couldn't avoid. Dad's practice limped under supervision, clients fleeing the scandal's stench. Mom volunteered less at luncheons, her circle whispering about the unfortunate family matter. The house sold below asking, proceeds swallowed by debts I'd uncovered in forensic reports, casino markers in Dad's name, credit card statements bloated with Mom's impulse buys, designer escapes from emptiness. Ashley's California move was real, per a shared acquaintance. She ditched the engagement ring for a rescue shelter job, fostering dogs with behavioral issues, mirroring Max's quiet wisdom. Her therapy mention in the call had stuck. Perhaps she was dismantling her own facade, brick by borrowed brick. No direct contact per the settlement, but a postcard arrived anonymously. Beach scene. Scrawled, learning to exist without performance. Thanks for the push. I tucked it away, a tentative olive branch in a war I'd won but at cost. Max sniffed it curiously, his huff neutral. Forgiveness his nature, not mine yet. Confrontations hadn't ended with Blackwood's visit. Echoes rippled through legal volleys. Early in proceedings, Dad's lawyer emailed pleas for mediation, citing family unity. I declined. Memories fueling resolve. The tribunal living room, Ashley's smirk, Mom's skirt smoothing deflection. A deposition loomed but settled before. Perhaps Dad's graying face and leaked photos swayed me subconsciously. Not pity but recognition, their unraveling was punishment enough. Daniel's team unearthed more. The $200,000 diverted not just to wedding frivolities, but to prop up failing investments. Dad's gamble on a tech startup that tanked, echoing James's world ironically. Patterns of abuse, Daniel termed it, financial and emotional, a cycle where I was collateral. Reclaiming the funds felt like justice, but spending wisely became my vow. Savings for stability, donations to shelters honoring Max's roots, a fund for veteran dog pairings. One evening, Sarah visited, now engaged herself bearing wine and stories. Your family's implosion, it's gossip gold. We laughed but sobered. Proud of you, Soph, burning it down to build better. Max sprawled between us, his presence the anchor she'd always envied lightly. As fall crispness arrived, I attended a Project Compass symposium Daniel invited me to. Low-key, experts discussing ethical breeding revivals. New insights. The program's shutdown stemmed from dogs like Max prioritizing bonds over utility. Too human for military specs. A geneticist shared slides on mirror neurons. Max's traits visualized in charts that made his empathy scientific magic. Handlers like you, she noted post-talk, are key. Your intuition amplifies theirs. It validated years of doubt. My phases weren't flaws, but strengths. Returning home, Max greeted with full-body wiggles, the Chicago toy still his favorite, squeaks punctuating play. That night, dreams wove old and new, family dinners dissolving into training fields, Max leading me through fog. Waking, I journaled for the first time since the betrayal, words flowing. They sold my dog, but couldn't sell my spirit. Maria's words from the gallery echoed, freedom as happiness. A text from Daniel, dinner? Discuss expanding the program. Hesitation flickered, professional or more. His warmth, James's proxy, felt safe. Yes, I replied, Max's approving huff sealing it. The fallout's final threads unraveled in unexpected ways. A society page clipping arrived, forwarded by Sarah. Ashley's quiet relocation, wedding off, Preston marrying another heiress. No schadenfreude stirred. Instead, empathy for the sister trapped in performance. Dad's disbarment threat lifted, but his practice halved, karma's quiet blade. Mom reached out once, a block number voicemail deleted unheard. Severance held. My life bloomed. Training sessions filled, a side blog on empathic dogs gaining followers, sharing Max's story anonymized. One veteran wrote, your dog saved me, showed loyalty exists. Tears came, healing ones. Max, sensing, rested his head on my lap, eyes wise as ever. The Morrisons' facade lay in ruins, but mine stood authentic, built on chosen foundations. The seasons shifted subtly in the city, leaves turning gold as if mirroring the quiet transformation in my own life, each day layering new strength over the scars of betrayal. My role at Blackwood's company had blossomed beyond expectations. What started as training sessions evolved into leading workshops on empathic bonding, drawing from Max's lineage to help veterans find solace in four-legged companions. One crisp morning, I stood in the facility's outdoor arena, dew still clinging to the grass, guiding a group through exercises where dogs like Max anticipated needs, fetching dropped items or offering steady pressure during anxiety spikes. A Navy SEAL, his hands trembling from unseen battles, finally smiled as his border collie mix leaned into him, a silent promise of understanding. "It's like he knows my ghosts," he murmured. "They do," I replied, drawing from fresh research I'd conducted on Project Compass remnants. Archived studies showing how these dogs' enhanced mirror neurons created feedback loops of healing, reducing PTSD symptoms by 40% in pilot programs. Daniel had funded my access to those files, adding depth to our curriculum. New modules on genetic ethics, ensuring participants understood the responsibility of such bonds. "You're revolutionizing this," he said later over lunch, his eyes holding mine longer than professional courtesy demanded. Our dinners had become dates, tentative explorations of connection built on shared values, James's memory a gentle bridge between us. Independence tasted sweeter with each milestone. The inheritance, now securely invested, allowed me to upgrade our apartment modestly, a larger space with a tiny balcony where Max could sunbathe, watching the world below with his wise gaze. I launched a nonprofit side venture, Compass Companions, focusing on rescuing dogs with potential empathic traits, training them for therapy roles in underfunded communities. Funding came partly from settlement damages, but mostly from grants I'd secured through networking at symposiums, where experts praised Max as a living case study. One evening, presenting at a conference, I shared anonymized slides of his bloodline charts, highlighting how early bonding, like our rainy shelter meeting, amplified innate abilities. Attendees approached afterward, stories pouring out, a therapist with a similar rescue, a veteran crediting his dog for survival. It validated everything's, turning personal pain into communal good. Back home, Sarah visited often, her new life with her boyfriend a happy chaos. We'd host game nights, Max stealing treats under the table, his huffs the soundtrack to laughter. Maria became a regular too, her son's art adorning my walls, symbols of invisible strength. "You've built a real family," she said during one dinner, her warm smile erasing years of overheard Morrison dismissals. Reflection came in quiet moments, like walks with Max at dusk, his leash loose as we wandered paths once shadowed by doubt. The Morrisons' absence was a void that had filled with peace. No more obligatory holidays, no forced smiles at Ashley's triumphs. Rumors filtered, Dad retiring early, Mom traveling solo for self-discovery. Their marriage strained but enduring in downsized quarters. Ashley's updates came sporadically, emails about her shelter work, a photo of Hope graduating obedience class, hints of dating someone real, not pedigreed. "Therapy's helping unpack the performance," she wrote once. "Miss the idea of us as sisters, maybe rebuild someday?" I replied carefully. Doors cracked but not flung open. Max's loyalty taught caution. The betrayals' lessons lingered. Family is choice, not obligation. Value in authenticity over appearance. James's letter, framed on my desk, reminded daily, permission to be me, fiercely loving, rarely forgiving. Daniel echoed it, our relationship deepening, with walks where Max approved, tail wags sealing bonds. Yet in the hush of evenings, as rain pattered like old shelter memories, I pondered the cost, lost blood ties for gained freedom. Max, curled at my feet, his breathing rhythmic, embodied the answer, worth every shattered illusion. We'd survived sale and secrets, emerging whole. As the days gently unfolded into a tapestry of quiet contentment, I found myself lingering more in the soft glow of evening light, where Max's fur caught the fading sun like threads of gold, reminding me of the simple, enduring warmth that had carried us through the storm. The echoes of betrayal, once sharp and unrelenting, had softened into distant whispers, lessons woven into the fabric of who I had become. A woman no longer defined by the shadows of a family's expectations, but by the light of chosen paths and unwavering loyalties. With each sunrise, as Max rested his chin on the bed's edge, his eyes holding that timeless wisdom, I felt reassured that we had not merely survived, but truly flourished, building a life rich in authenticity and purpose, surrounded by those who saw us fully and loved without condition. The world outside hummed with its endless stories, but within our haven, time slowed, allowing space for gratitude to bloom, for healing to deepen in unhurried layers. And as night draped its velvet curtain, Max's steady breath beside me became a lullaby of peace, fading the day's edges into serenity. A gentle affirmation that in choosing love over legacy, we had discovered the truest home. In the end, it was this: a girl and her dog, bound by a bond unbreakable, whispering into the quiet that all was well, and would remain so, forever.